Today I wanted to talk about what happens when the breakup or even being in no contact can feel overwhelming. And that might sound a little silly because of course a heartbreak and of course sometimes no contact is going to feel overwhelming. But the truth is sometimes it's more overwhelming. It's more painful for some people than it is for others. And a lot of times you might know this. You might look around and you see that of course everybody hurts in a heartbreak, but you just feel like you're hurting more. It's supposed to be difficult, but you just know it's a little bit more difficult for you. A lot of times you'll hear things and they just won't seem to make sense to you. You'll look around and see when other people are going through a heartbreak, it still hurts for them. I mean, nobody enjoys a breakup. Nobody enjoys having their heart broken, but you'll just know that it seems like for you, it's a little bit more painful. Your friends might say something to you like, well, just kind of get your mind off of it for a while. Why don't you come hang out with us? And you won't know what they're talking about. The idea of getting your mind off of it is just like a foreign concept to you. To you, it'll feel like somebody set you on fire, and then well-meaning friends and family will say things like, well, just get your mind off of it. Just come spend some time with us. We're going to go out later. You should come. And you'd be thinking something like, well, yeah, that might be nice, and I appreciate the thought, but I'm on fire. There's nothing really you can do when you're engulfed in flames to not think about the fact that you're in severe agony. People will say, I don't know why you still want to be with him or her. If I were you, I wouldn't want to be with somebody that treats me like that. Which can make it worse, because that makes you feel more broken. And a lot of times you wonder yourself, and that makes you feel more hopeless. Wait, they just treated me poorly. They just discarded me like I don't mean anything. Why doesn't that make me angry? Why doesn't that make me just respond with more strength than I feel right now? Somehow it actually makes me more desperate. It makes me willing to do anything if I could just get them back. What is wrong with me? So this video is for you. I just wanted to tell you, there's a good chance there's nothing wrong with you. I'm not trying to be your psychologist or psychiatrist. I'm not your therapist. And I always recommend, hey, I'm not trying to pretend like I have those credentials. Go talk to a mental health care professional if you feel overwhelmed. But I'm talking to people that know they're not going to harm themselves, but they just feel this kind of overwhelming sense of brokenness and hopelessness, and they don't know quite what's wrong. Everybody's equal in terms of worth. But some people were wired differently, right? We're created differently. Some people feel things deeper than others. Some people are more emotional. Some people are more fixated. Some people are more driven. So we're all different. But a lot of times what I'll notice is there are certain people that just are wired to feel things on a scale of 1 to 10. They're wired to feel things at a 15. It's usually connected to some kind of gift of creativity. It can also be connected to a gift of hyper-analysis. In other words, you can be the kind of person that's just a gifted artist. Maybe you're a gifted writer, a gifted musician. Well, a lot of times having those artistic type of gifts are connected to people that just feel things to such a deep, powerful level that they feel a compulsion to express it. And in those areas, it seems like a gift, right? I mean, those are some of the best actors, writers, musicians, poets, some of the most creative people in history. Connected to those gifts is this feeling of feeling things at such a deep level, having such an intensity with how they process everything, that it creates a compulsion to express it. And that's where we get this incredible art. A recent example might be Robin Williams. Nobody could look at him and think he's not creative, right? That he doesn't feel things deeply. You can tell, and he expresses them quickly, and he expressed them beautifully, and talentedly, and creatively. Funny enough, he expressed them humorously. But on the other side of that same intensity, let's say you take it out of a creative expression, and now you put that type of person in heartbreak. Now that same gifted intensity that leads to all these gifts and all these talents and abilities, now it's in heartbreak. So let's say maybe you're a gifted writer or musician or singer or whatever, but now your heart's broken. That intensity now makes your heartbreak, on a scale of 1 to 10, your heartbreak probably isn't going to be a 10. Your heartbreak's probably going to be a 15. The difference is when you're expressing it through gifts and when you're expressing it through creativity and genius, then it looks like a great thing. You feel proud to have that gift of intensity. But when your heart's broken, it feels overwhelming. And when it feels overwhelming, it feels like you're broken. And sometimes feeling that much pain and feeling that much heartbreak makes you feel that much hopelessness. So the very gifts that you have when you're walking around in real life, when you're walking around when you're not in so much agony, that makes you happy for who you are, have maybe exceptional gifts in these areas, what if it's connected to the same kind of feeling you have now? It's just now it's overwhelming. So what I'm trying to tell people is I'm trying to give them framework to understand their pain. Let me ask you an honest question. If I could snap my fingers, or if God came to you and said, I could take away half the pain you're feeling right now, but to take away half the pain that you're in, I have to take away half of the intensity that you feel joy when you feel joy. I have to take away half of the excitement you feel when you, like, maybe you held your son or your daughter in your arms for the first time. I have to take away half of the loyalty and love that you feel for your family. I take away half the connection you feel when you're with your best friends and you have all those favorite memories of the people that are closest to you in your life. I take away half of that too. Maybe what feels like a curse now, because it's making you experience overwhelming pain, isn't actually a curse. And maybe it's not actual evidence that something's wrong with you. Maybe you're not really weak. Maybe you're not really broken at all. Maybe it's just the same gift of intensity, the same gift of creative genius maybe, that makes you feel things so overwhelmingly in positive areas that make you this gifted speaker or artist or writer or sculptor or painter or singer or musician, whatever it is. Maybe it makes you gifted in those areas, but now because you're hurt, because you're in heartbreak, maybe it makes you feel hopeless and broken and weak. Maybe it even makes you feel stupid and pathetic. But maybe you're none of those things. Maybe what you're feeling is just the result of having exceptional intensity, but now you're feeling it in a time in your life when you're already in enough pain. And maybe it makes that pain feel almost overwhelming. But sometimes what can really make it feel hopeless is believing that you're feeling so much pain because something's wrong with you. And what I'm telling you is, what if nothing's wrong with you? What if it's just the result of having an exceptional wiring? Maybe you're just wired to feel things deeper than most. That's a good thing in a lot of ways. In some situations, it's a really painful thing. But what makes it more painful is letting that be evidence that something's wrong with you. Maybe the pain you're in isn't because the person that you lost, or that you feel like you might have lost, is irreplaceable. Maybe, yeah, you really do love them, but maybe they're not actually irreplaceable. Maybe you're just in this much pain because your wiring is that exceptional. Sometimes just that difference in the framework of what you're experiencing can make the difference. There have been times in my life when I actually prayed to God and asked Him to let me die in the middle of the night because I didn't know if I could get through another day of the kind of pain that I was feeling. And I thought, what makes it more difficult to bear is that I know something's wrong with me. I don't know why, I don't know what, but something's wrong with me that I can't stop feeling this much pain. I see other people go through heartbreak, but they get over it. Why am I feeling like I will never get over this? And if I'll never get over this, I don't want to live like this. And then I realized, wait, that same extraordinary level of pain that I'm feeling, what if it's connected to the same things that are considered gifts in other areas? Just having that different perspective on why you're hurting to the level that you're hurting can give you a little bit more sense of strength. In other words, I can handle agony if I know that agony is connected to who I am. If I know it's connected to the same things that I would consider gifts. And it's not evidence that there's anything wrong with me. It's not evidence that I'm broken. I can carry pain knowing that it just comes with being who I am, and it's not evidence that something just is fundamentally flawed inside of me that I'll never be able to fix. And remember, don't give up. Sometimes being in exceptional pain means you're an exceptional person. So just have hope. Give yourself room to hope. You probably thought it was impossible that you'd be in the position you're in right now. There was probably a time and a point in your relationship that felt so good that you never would have believed you would have ended up broken up. You never would have believed that you would have felt hopeless right now. The same is true now. You can feel hope again. Things can change. Things can pivot and turn around to a degree that would be hard for you to imagine right now, just like it was then. So give yourself time and permission to hope, okay? And if you'd like to set up a call with me, you can go to dotheylove.me.com, and I'll be happy to talk to you sometime. Thanks a lot.